Hi, buddy. Of course, the topic on everyone's mind is Scott Oberg and news that he had to have another surgery for the blood clots. Um, I'm just going to let you speak about your feelings on it, because I know how much you admire and how much you like Scott Oberg. I'm just curious how it hit you,
Yeah,
how it's hit the team.
yeah. Well, you know, uh, a couple days ago, he reported into the training room with, some of the same symptoms that he's had, over his career, as far as numbness in his hand and some circulatory issues, uh, with the blood getting down to his hand. And, the long story short, Keith and the trainers down here, very quickly realized that there might be an issue. Called the doctors here in Scottsdale, and immediately got him in to see some doctors over at the hospital, and from there, surgery had to take place. Uh, Obviously word got back to me and the coaching staff, the front office, and then eventually the players. And, obviously we're all devastated by this, knowing Scotty like we do, and knowing, some of the heartache that he's been through over his career as it relates to this, problem. So anyhow, I mean, we are crushed by the news. This is life stuff, right? On a personal level, these things are difficult. Because you become, part of these guys' lives. They become, part of, family. You hear that talked about a lot in professional sports and in other workplaces, and it's no different here with, professional baseball. But this one hurts. But now Scotty's, he's out of the hospital. He's going to come by the ballpark this afternoon. He's in relatively good spirits overall. But from a team, we'll support Scotty, and put our arms around him when we see him, and we'll move forward, and Scotty will move forward as well.
And if you don't want to speak to this, because maybe you can't, buddy, the speculation obviously is that this is a career-ending thing. Have you talked to Scotty about that, or am I jumping the gun?
Yeah, they'll jump in the gun. I have not. I think it's really, early in the process to make that strong of a statement. But I know that, he's going to consult with specialists again, over the ensuing weeks and months, to see really what, can be done, or if anything can be done. And I think all those answers will be coming, who knows, Patrick, weeks, months, I'm not sure. But I think it's really too early to speculate.
Okay, and switching gears, I suppose, to the baseball side of things, what does this do to your bullpen? I mean, does it alter a lot of major decisions, or did you have a contingency plan already?
Well, you're always, you try to, get as many guys, ready for a big league season as possible, knowing that, injuries can happen, whether they're, as significant as this, or even short-term injuries. So, I mean, our group of guys that are here in camp, will continue to continue to pitch, and those guys that are in our minds battling for spots will continue to battle over the next 3 or 4 days, and we'll come to a decision. Obviously before Thursday. I'm not sure when we have to set our roster of our pitching staff. Whether that's 13 or 14, but through the coaching staff and our front office, our decision makers will come to our pitching staff as it's going to be, come April 1st.
And one more, and I'll let somebody else jump in. regarding Scott Oberg, from what you saw of him when he was able to pitch for you, and I'm thinking particularly when he took over as a closer for Wade for that short period of time, how good a pitcher was Scott Oberg becoming?
No, he was. I think really finding his way as a really reliable, consistent big league relief pitcher. The last 100 innings or so, you could see the consistency of performance, and it looked as though he was going to be on his way to a nice run of performance for years, barring any health issues. But he was in a really good spot. I mean, delivery wise, stuff wise, mentally confident, overall strength in his body. He was doing great. So, he had developed. He had a couple setbacks, performance, and then all of a sudden, bam! Through some changes in his delivery, some great work with the coaching staff, had really found, lack of a better term, found it and proved it in between the lines.
Thank you, buddy.
Thomas Harding, go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, buddy, just kind of going back, how difficult a day was it around there yesterday, kind of finding out about what had gone on with Scott?
Well, it was tough. We were on the road, so but early in the morning, the players were made aware of what was going on, and it was a tough one, because Scotty's one of our leaders on the team. He's the union representative for the Rockies with the Players Association. He's got it's a big role for any player. He was a guy that other guys could lean on for advice. He was a vital member of our team and well liked. So when you get that news, it hurts. It's it's tough on guys. It's emotional, and the pitching coaches, the coaching staff, emotional as well, and even the front office who've known Scotty since day one through the draft, also emotional.
Have you had a chance to talk to him?
We've texted. We haven't talked. We haven't spoke live.
All right. I guess if it's, and I missed the very beginning, can we go to some baseball stuff after this?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Just kind of looking at the team as it stands right now, where is Sam Hilliard? I know he's been making some adjustments here. The numbers aren't great in spring training. I mean, does he look like it's coming together? Will there be at-bats to do this in the major leagues at the start of the season?
Well, I think, we've talked about this, especially if we keep 14 pitchers, 12 position players, the at-bats for a number of those guys on our roster will be spread around, the versatility that so many of the guys bring, including Sam being able to play all three outfield positions, and his skill set of defense, run tool, power. He'll get opportunities. This spring again, like a lot of springs and a lot of camps, guys are working on things, getting ready for the regular season, and sometimes the statistics will reflect some things that players are going through. And Sam's one of those. We've talked about pitch selection. I think that's been improved upon. The chase rate is not as great this spring as we saw maybe during the regular season last year. The strikeouts are a little high for sure, and that's something that we have to combat, and Sam has to combat as well. But overall, we've seen some good swings. We've seen some good at bats. There's a good at bat yesterday up in Goodyear. Fell behind 0-2 to a tough lefty and ended up battling for a walk. Laid off some breaking balls, laid off some high fastballs. So, those are those little small incremental at bats that you see are progress. But again, I know that Sam's working hard with the hitting coaches to try to shorten the swing and eventually cut down on his strikeouts and get the contact rate up a little bit.
Yeah, I remember that first at bat yesterday. Just listening on the radio, it sounded like he battled through that.
Yeah.
Where is Daza in the mix here? I know you've been putting him out there and giving him a shot here.
Yeah, he's one of our leaders in a lot of offensive categories, right? At bats, games played, batting average, on base percentage. He's had a good spring. He really has. He's been impressive. So again, he's right there in the mix. He's played very well to give himself every opportunity to make the team.
All right, thanks. I appreciate that.
You got it, Thomas.
Nick Rogue?
Yeah, buddy, back on Scott. Just two quick details, if you don't mind. Was he pitching again when he felt it in the hand like last? Was it similar to last summer?
He pitched in a B game the day before, and then the next day. Let's see, what's today? Saturday. This is Friday. So he pitched Wednesday in the B game, and then Thursday, he felt some discomfort, in our early morning practice, and that's when it was identified that the issue had reoccurred.
Gotcha. And then, do you expect that he might be around the team at all this season?
I'm not sure. Again, I think there's it might be a lot like last summer when when this type of event happened again with the circulation, that he went and saw a number of specialists. So not sure what his schedule will be. I think more than anything we gotta make sure that Scott gets in front of the right doctors and specialists and a lot of consultations about what this all means. I think more again on just on the personal side and not the baseball side.
Gotcha. And then the game moves so quickly sometimes. The day to day, we always are always going forward. I don't know if it's like that with you, but I kind of hate that we have to stop sometimes for these reasons to remember things. But can you remember the 12th and 13th innings at Wrigley? His appearance, it was really rather incredible.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious what you.
Yeah, I mean, no, I can still. I will never forget the visual of the breaking ball down below the zone to Javier Baez, and Tony catching it, jumping up, and the celebration on the mound. I'll never forget that visual. Scotty pitched great. I mean, actually, obviously our whole team pitched great, but Scotty was the guy at the end that closed it out, and that I think for us and for me, I'll always remember that day, that night, that pitch, and that exhilaration and exuberance and emotion that we felt. That was awesome.
Yeah, I imagine though that you probably didn't. Your direction probably wasn't like, go get me 4 strikeouts.
No,
was he just really on
no.
that
I mean, that was an incredible game. If you think about a playoff game that goes 13 innings, that game doesn't get talked about a lot either as a great game. That was a well played game with a lot of decisions to make by both teams and rosters being used and pitching changes and double switches and the whole thing. That was a classic game. And again, I'm repeating myself, but looking back at that one, that was Scott Oberg at the end of that game getting it done.
Thank you, buddy.
Go to our newest beat writer, Danielle Allentuck from Denver Gazette. Danielle?
Hi, buddy. Nice to talk with you for the first time.
Welcome.
Thank you. When you have a situation like this where Scott and the whole team's emotional, the whole coaching staff is emotional, how hard is it to try to rein everybody in and focus back on baseball?
Well, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. I think the biggest thing is, players, coaches, organizations, you become sort of hardened to things like this. Not that you're any less sensitive or emotional about it, and the feelings are there, but you sort of become conditioned to these things. And Nick said it in his question in a lot of ways. In our sport, it just keeps moving on, and players know that this is our job, this is what we do every day. But these things sort of stick with you for a while. They stick with you for a while, then eventually things ease up. But you sort of become conditioned for these types of things, and they're hard, and they're life stuff. And all organizations go through these types of things. Tragically, the Minnesota Twins are going through the same thing with Mike Bell and his passing. It's tragedy, but you move on. You have to. It's how life is.
Did you know Mike Bell at all?
I knew Mike, yes. Yeah, I knew his father. I was a member of the Indians when Buddy was a coach of the Indians. Pitched against Buddy. Knew all the Bell sons, so I know the family.
Thank you.
All right, we'll finish up with Pat Graham. Pat, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, thanks. I got here just a little bit late. You probably already answered this, but just wanted to double check. Everything with Scott and surgery went well. I mean, it went according to plan, right?
Yeah, I mean, they had to dissolve some blood clots in and around his elbow, which they did. The doctors are satisfied with, what went on at the hospital the last 48 hours. He got released from the hospital, and he'll be here at Salt River this afternoon at some point.
Then my final question would be this. You're kind of seeing this a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit around baseball, just clots and arm issues like with Chris Archer and Will Harris and stuff like that. I mean, I know that you're not a doctor, but any explanations why? Is it because they're throwing harder basketball?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure this has happened, prior to this current generation of players. I can't recall, guys that I played with or guys that I, coached maybe a couple decades ago in Anaheim, but I'm sure it's happened. I think and it maybe might not have got as, the coverage that is out there now with, so much coverage of our sport, but I'm sure it's happened before.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks.
Thanks, buddy.